Welcome back to Discover North Korea, the podcast where I discuss all things North Korea like you've never heard it discussed before, as apolitical as possible and in a more neutral, nuanced way, away from the politics and with the culture and the people. In the past few episodes, we have been doing all of these travel-style podcasts. If that's not your thing, I apologize, but I love it. Anyway, as I return to Pyongyang, there's going to be a couple more of these styles of episodes, but we will get back to the normal podcast discussing regular issues at some point very soon, as tourism to North Korea has now ceased. I will cover that a little bit more in a minute, but this week I am so excited to bring you back to Pyongyang. Now, if you know me at all or have seen me across platforms, you know I can multitask like crazy, but this one got a little bit much. Aside from the emotions of being back, the craziness that was my busy life up to the build-up, I'll get into that too. I was also working during the time I was in Pyongyang, getting content for Koryo Tours, looking after the group, and also just generally trying to help out with the different groups. I was also trying to do some filming and podcasting for my various channels. Now, obviously, doing all of those things is far too much to handle, and something had to give. Since I concentrated on the podcast for Rason, I decided to focus on video stuff for Pyongyang since, well, the Pyongyang Marathon was all very visual and very exciting. That means that there may be a little lack of real-time recordings in comparison at least to previous episodes. Things kind of trail off a bit during and after the marathon, but that's all to come. This week we'll focus on actually getting to Pyongyang and experiencing the AIR Koryo flight for yourself. As I mentioned, I did focus on video stuff this time, so if you're not subscribed or if you've missed it, I've already put out a YouTube video, and honestly, it's probably one of the best videos on my channel so far. I would love it if you could go and give it a watch, leave a comment or share it with your friends. If you have tons of time and tons of data, feel free to leave it just playing in the background. Help rack up those innocent views. You can find me across all platforms, including Instagram and TikTok and YouTube on Zoe Discovers, at Zoe Discovers or at Zoe Discovers NK. I'll leave the links in the show notes. You can expect a lot more content to come out over the coming weeks, including an exploration of Pyongyang, its new streets, as well as my solo run through Pyongyang. Yep, that's right, running solo through the streets of Pyongyang. An amazing experience, truly. Before we head into Beijing and onto our flight to Pyongyang, a massive thank you to all of my patrons over at Patreon. You make this work possible. You have supported me when things have been very dull in the North Korea tourism world. I appreciate you so much. I'll be doing lots of giveaways over social media and also on my Patreon soon. So if you haven't followed me over there, please do so. It's free to follow. And of course, there are paid subscription levels if you wish to support me and my work. The link is also in the show notes. Also, I do want to say a massive apology and a thank you for the recent audio issues. I've been on the road editing, and as you can imagine, time has been of the essence in terms of posting about the Pyongyang Marathon. So I've often gone for speed over quality, and whilst battling slow internet connections, no storage on my multiple devices, and constant low batteries, including my own battery, the slight audio issues just became a low priority. I'm really sorry, and I try to be a superwoman sometimes. I'm not, and moving forward, I will try to focus on better quality content for you all and better production value. One of you noticed and offered to help me out. A massive thank you to you for your assistance in making sure the sound was indeed working through both headphones. I do want to say a massive thank you to the people who made this possible. The person who made this possible is Simon, our general manager at Koryo Tours. And I want to say a massive thank you to everyone at Koryo Tours. We had, I think, around 10 staff members, all in Pyongyang. It was just, I will go over it in the podcast. It was incredible to see everyone. It was great to catch up after not seeing each other for 5 years. But aside from that, I am so grateful to be part of this really, really great company that, has allowed me to grow so much and has really helped me to develop across all of these platforms, and without them, I literally couldn't be doing any of this. So why don't you go give them a follow too and let them know that they are awesome. So in this episode, we start in Beijing. We had a rushed first day meeting all of the people coming in on this group, of which there were about 100. There were another 100 already in Pyongyang at this point. They were all arriving in the hotel and coming for briefings, of which we had 2. I did one of them as well. It was great to be back on the grind and meet so many wonderful people from all over the world. Honestly, that is one of my favorite things about this industry, and I realized that during the pandemic is I miss travel, of course, during the pandemic, but the thing I miss most was meeting people. For me, that's what travel is about, and that's what really sums up, if I have a good experience in a country or not. It's often the people that I meet, and of course I mean the locals, but also I mean the people that I'm traveling with, so the groups and things like that. You meet people from all over the world that are, that have one thing in common, and that's a love for travel. So I'd really miss that. Of course, it was then amazing to see my colleagues, some of whom I hadn't seen since the start of the pandemic in 2020, or even before that. The following day, we then left to the airport after an early breakfast, and indeed, after I'd been for a run in preparation for the marathon, which you can see me do on YouTube. Yes, I did actually film that on the morning that I was going to North Korea, and yes, I was crazy busy. Yes, I probably did get up at around 5 a.m. I got into a car with my colleagues Nick, Josh, and Antonia, and got to Beijing Capital Airport. And that's exactly where we're going to start this off. Okay, we are currently in line at the AIR Koryo check-in desk. They have just started to start the check-in. There's loads of people here. We're taking about 100 people in today. In front of us, there's lots of Koreans, again, normally with loads of luggage. I don't know if you can hear the absolute excitement in my voice. Got all my colleagues with me. Nick's here, Greg's here. Very excited. My gosh, I can't believe this is happening. Finally on our way to Pyongyang. It's not happened yet. We're not checked in yet. We're not on the plane yet. We've not landed yet. That's when the real excitement will begin. But everything is happening.
Do you find as well if you give them an inch, they take a mile? Like, as soon as you speak a little bit, they go, oh, he's fluent.
What?
You are such a hypocrite.
You love it, really?
What?
The podcast is nice.
Yes, but you are still a hypocrite because
It's a tiny mic. I told people not to bring big mics. Here you hear a standard interaction with the yin and yang, that is me and Greg, as he tells me off for having my mics out. Just FYI, in my tour briefings, I do recommend that people don't bring in big mics. Emphasis on the big here. My podcast mics are very small.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly, that's literally my rule in North Korea. Not, did I promise?
in DPRK.
In DPRK, sorry, in DPRK. Greg, we just had some amazing news though. We just had some amazing news about who will be our guides in the DPRK. Are you excited?
Oh, so you're interviewing me?
Yes.
I'm excited, but I'm also a little bit afraid that I'm going to cry in front of 20 travelers or tourists or runners.
I know, that was my feeling when I found out who our guides were.
I was almost crying, actually.
Yeah, really. Oh my gosh, such a good friend of ours who we haven't seen for a long time. Any other words?
No words.
No words.
No words can express my happiness.
Oh my gosh, it's just added so much
And
more to the excitement.
It's a young other YouTuber.
Oh yeah, no. No, I think it's, yeah. These guides, my gosh, they are, I would say they are good friends of ours. Some of our best friends in Korea.
But there are some of them I don't recognize the names.
Yeah, some I don't recognize the names. I recognize the other one, Eunbyul. She's the older one, slightly older. Anyway, okay.
I never worked with a Huang.
Oh, I have. Okay, it's almost time for us to check in.
But also
Hello. I have 2 bags. Is it okay? Yeah. Okay. 那个我可以81吗？81号。 那个座位，哎。Of course, it is not mandatory to bring gifts for the guides, but we do recommend it for tourists going in. And for me, honestly, it's just like bringing something for my friends, especially after not seeing them for 5 years. In terms of what we usually recommend to bring, well, cigarettes and alcohol never go amiss, but I find that the ladies often miss out on this. So I usually try and concentrate on them. Fancy perfumes and cosmetics it is. And considering there was going to be at least 10 of them there, well, I ended up with a lot to carry. Thank you, bye bye. Here you go, lads. Thank you. And we are checked in.
Well done, you're done?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to Pyongyang. Have we done a
to
video
Pyongyang.
of everybody and everything?
Not yet.
So
no,
yeah,
I'm gonna do that now. We need to, before we board the plane, we need to get one of us all together.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Chimini, do you know that before we get board the plane, we need to one of us?
We'll have to get a staff one all together, a video.
Oh, right, yeah.
Okay, just made it out of security and passport control and all of that. Now officially in duty free, getting myself my last Starbucks for the next few days. It's my guilty pleasure when I travel. The coffee in North Korea is not great and very expensive. I definitely need a coffee, although I feel pretty hyped up anyway. 谢谢. Hey, 谢谢. Okay, now is off to duty free to get some gifts for the North Koreans. Oh my gosh, as soon as I found out who I'm going to be working with, I'm going to get so many gifts and stuff now. 这个可以用的吗？可以啊。哎，谢谢。Okay, get myself a basket. No doubt in duty free I'm going to do some good shopping. This is all feeling so crazy, so real. Oh my gosh. Okay, calm down, Zoe. We are currently at the we're currently at the gate. What is it you're trying to do last minute, Greg? Someone hasn't yet prepared their phone to go into the DPRK.
Because I was not supposed to take this phone to the DPRK. But the other part of Korea is making such shitty phones that they just die on me.
It was a Samsung, and now you're bringing your iPhone in. So you're saying that the US phones are supreme?
I'm saying that they are more user and DPRK friendly.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, not DPRK friendly mine, but...
Yeah. Well, it seems like you've been able to hide all of your
but not
photos.
No, the photos can be a problem.
No.
I will tell them that I believe the unification and they told me to do so, and I'm still recovering unificationist.
Oh, recovering reunificationist. I like it. How are you feeling about going in?
Excited.
Yeah.
And since we just learned with Zoe that our best friend in Korea, or one of the best.
Yeah, really. One of the three. One of the core 3 or 4. One of the core 4.
Okay,
I know we're thinking of the same 4.
Let's play that game of the record.
Yeah. We're not naming people deliberately here, by the way, guys.
Is going to be our guy, or one of the group's guide.
Yeah.
And I have the feeling that probably me.
Yeah. She's the reason I've just spent 3,000 RMB in duty free. My gosh.
So I'm a little bit worried that I'm going to cry in front of my runners.
Totally. I'm gonna make sure that I film your reaction when you see her. I'm gonna try and get out first because I want to buy a SIM card. So I'll get out first. What do you need?
Yeah, if you find her, then just tell her that they have to find me and my phone so that you can register the SIM card for me.
Okay. Well, give me your, we'll get out at the same time.
It has to be registered, right? So
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Anything else that you want to say? Okay. Could here meaning stop in Korean. So that was enough for me from Greg to tell me, yep, stop recording now, please, Zoe. Whilst we wait for our flight, let me catch you up a bit on what's been happening in the world in North Korea tourism. So a few weeks ago, Razon opened suddenly and then closed just as suddenly. Nothing has been happening since there. There are no new updates since with that one. Koryo Tours are the official partners of the Pyongyang Marathon and have been for many years. We were in touch with them and our Pyongyang Marathon partners for over the past few months on the potential of a Pyongyang Marathon happening in 2025, but we had a lot of hurdles along the way. Firstly, this wouldn't be in cooperation with our tourist partners, but as a special delegation of runners. This would mean full-page visas and having to go to a DPRK embassy to pick them up. We were then incredibly nervous about these visas actually all being issued and issued correctly, especially when it took around 5 attempts to get our first visa issued and at least one of us into Pyongyang in order to discuss marathon issues. After many failed attempts, one where I even travelled all the way to Beijing to get my visa and then travelled all the way back home to Taiwan without it, Greg finally made it into Pyongyang a few weeks before the marathon to be able to confirm things with our partners. So it's really been all go. And whilst we're at it, I'll catch you up a bit on my life too, which has been strangely exciting this year after spending less time at home and more time genuinely on planes and in airports. 2025 was meant to be a chilled, settle down year for me, but, well, after a failed marriage, it went the complete opposite. It started off in Mauritania, where I spent the New Year's Eve, where I was leading a tour with Rocky Road, who I freelance tour for a few countries in the Middle East and North Africa. I then went back all the way to Taiwan before leading another trip, and our first Koryo Tours trip to Afghanistan, which just went amazingly. I'll be back there 5 times this year, and the tours are already sold out. If you're interested in travel to Afghanistan with me in 2026, do let me know. So I then led our first Bangladesh trip and also made it to Nepal before heading back to Taiwan finally. Just for a few days though, as I then went all the way to the US to take part in a conference where I presented my research on North Korea and the media. During this time, Razon decided to open suddenly, so my careful plans of rest in Taiwan were scuppered as I made it to Beijing and then Razon, just before the borders closed. Actually, the borders closed whilst I was in Razon. I then made a quick trip back to Taiwan for the rest of the week before I then went to Dubai, Rwanda and Uganda, which ends up being pretty important for this trip. More on that later. I was supposed to stay in Africa until I then led another trip to Libya, which is where I am now recording this actually, and then Socotra in Yemen. But North Korea again had other plans. The Pyongyang Marathon was confirmed to run just 1 month in advance, so from Uganda to Pyongyang and then Pyongyang to Libya. I hope you all have the globe in your minds so you can really imagine the kind of travel that I have been doing recently. It's been a ride. And I'm hanging out around this area now until the start of June, running a couple more trips to Afghanistan and finally taking my own holiday in the Caucasus. Hit me up with your recommendations for Azerbaijan, Georgia and Armenia. If anyone is around, do let me know. And in terms of North Korea tourism, I am not making any predictions because if you asked me, and as I do admit to Greg, and indeed apologize for later in the plane, I thought there was very little possibility of the Pyongyang Marathon happening this year. Indeed, we were divided on this at Koryo. Greg, for once, was the optimistic one. So whether tourism will resume to North Korea soon or not, we simply do not know. The one thing I can say for sure is that nobody knows. Anyone who tells you any different is just guessing.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Flight JS 1522 Pyongyang is now ready for boarding. Would you please have your belongings and boarding passes ready and board the aircraft through gate number 7. We wish you a pleasant journey. Thank you.
Okay, it's happening, guys. We are boarding on our way to Pyongyang. On our way to Pyongyang. Yeah. So in Pyongyang, I'm going to try and do some voice notes on the plane, on the AIR Koryo aircraft, but it seems that they haven't been allowing people to film in there, so let's see how they feel about these microphones. Got my seat right next to Greg, so expect a lot of Greg on the podcast as well, much to his displeasure. I'm so excited. Let's go. How you feeling, Greg?
I mean, for me it's not as important as that because I've already been there. Right?
Oh, okay.
3 weeks ago.
Alright. After Greg's bragging, now we're finally boarding the aircraft.
I'm not bragging, I'm just stating facts.
We have the challenge. We're gonna challenge. We're gonna ask if, because we got pilots.
Okay, I just got on the aircraft. Yeah, thank you.
I live inside Korea for 8 years now.
Okay, looking for... Yeah, no problem, no problem.
I can help you
Pass it
to
me.
put it up. Just
No problem. I'll find a place. 여기에서 됩니까? 그쪽이. No. Of course, with my extra bags from duty free, it was a little hard to find the extra space on the aircraft. Much to Greg's horror, the air hostess suggested to put it in front of one of the areas at the exit row. Whilst he was adamant that this is indeed not possible, I had seen it on the other side that someone already had done this. So the air hostess seemed to think it was a great idea. That's what we went with. Wait a minute. Okay. Can we put it? Oh, 여기서.
No.
Yeah, because they have it over there also.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh, yes. Thank you.
More?
Yeah, more coming your way. Thank you. One more. Okay, should be good now. Thank you. 감사합니다. Yeah, I'm in the middle. This is, you better be grateful that I changed to a middle seat for you. This is the first time in my life I've ever flown in a middle seat. I swear, I've never sat in a middle seat in my, no, it's because I'm sat next to Greg.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you though, very nice of you.
No problem.
I've literally never sat in a middle seat.
No, because usually when I
I'm such
fly,
a-
I'm asking, it's a corridor.
Yeah, I'm such a princess when I
Anytime
fly.
inside is fine. But anyway, because this one is a short fly, it's no problem.
Yeah, exactly.
But usually when long trip.
Yeah. Yes, somehow, despite my frequent flights throughout my life, I've managed to avoid the middle seat. To be honest, this is never usually hard. All you do is to make sure when you check in on time, you just ask. But hey, Greg had requested my presence, so who was I to decline? Nick, you're on the plane to Pyongyang. Tell us how you feel.
How do I feel?
Hold it. It's
Ah,
hot, but
okay.
yeah, give us some words.
Well, it's been, I think it was in January 2020 when Zoe came back and said it's closed. And so we closed the company for what we thought would be a few months, which turned into a year, which turned into 5 years. And just after 5 years, we're heading back. So, yeah, anticipation.
In case you don't know, Nick Bonnet is the founder and director at Koryo Tours. He's an absolutely brilliant man, a genius, and if you've ever had the privilege to meet him, you'd certainly know this. He's been working in North Korea tourism exactly as long as I've been alive. Koryo Tours is 31 years old, just like me. He knows North Korea like no one else and has even produced some interesting documentaries and films there. I'll link them in the show notes. Nick Bonner has to delete the photo. Nick Bonner, come on now. Okay, so the plane has just started moving. Greg is sat next to me at the window seat whilst I'm stuck in the middle, but he's reading his Rodong Shimun newspaper. I've got my colourful magazine. I'm trying to catch up on some last minute messages from everybody as well as we depart. My gosh. Let's go to Pyongyang. Is it surprising that we're taking off on time?
For a Korea, no, we are not taking off in time.
Oh, we're moving in
We are
time.
leaving the gate at time. Yeah.
This is quite an intense Rodong Shingmun actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I can handle it.
The Rodong Shingmun is the local paper in the DPRK and they hand it out at the start of the flight. It's all in Korean though. Yeah, what has it got? It's got, it's a big picture of Marshal Kim Jong-un on the front and it's all military Wow, it's some kind of military exercises. It's quite intense, actually. Yeah, it's from the 5th. Oh, it's today's paper. That's nice. Greg, can you give us a summary in your good Korean?
The problem is that my revolutionary Korean is not too good, and also my military Korean is not that good.
Really? That's not what you studied? It's definitely one of the more intense newspapers I've
But I
seen.
can be very dramatic in Korean when it comes to love and stuff like that, I think.
Oh, I see where you studied your Korean. Yeah, so this is definitely a newspaper that you can't put on the floor, put in the bin, scrunch up. It's got literally Kim Jong-un's face all over it. There's him shooting a gun as well at the bottom.
Oh, they?
My gosh, it is quite intense, isn't it? Whereas mine is nice and beautiful and colorful. What's this from? This is from one of the parades.
So right now, there is a movement called 2010 movement. So Korea has 200 cities and districts, and for the next 10 years, each year they're going to renovate or like develop 20 districts or cities in Korea. It's like a 2010 urban redevelopment campaign. And whenever you see these like inauguration ceremonies, it's part of.
Okay, this is one of the new areas. Ah, I see. So this is a new
usually
street.
New factories.
A new factory. Okay.
New living districts or quarters, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a big parade, and there's lots of balloons, very colourful. Yeah. I wonder what new factory that is. Hyap, something.
Yeah, it says regional development policy.
Very nice.
Each exit doors equipped with an evacuation slide. 비행기 탈출 시 통로 바닥에 두 줄로 나 있는 푸른색의 발광띠들은旅객들을 가장 가까운 출구로 인도하게 됩니다.
We're currently going through the safety. What is it called? What do you call this? Safety demonstration. I don't understand it. What is it?
It's about the impeachment.
Oh yeah, 한국에서. I never saw them call it 한국.
You don't listen to me?
What?
I was like all about this when I came. Like,
So they're reporting on the impeachment of Yoon. Yoon Suk-yeol. Okay, I see it now. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Wow, how interesting. But it's only a little snippet that they're reporting on. What's that?
The
Impeachment Day.
No.
Oh.
The impeachment day is yesterday.
This is their reporting on what happened in the 3rd of December. Yeah. Interesting.
비행기 밖으로 나가면서 구명조끼 밑부분에 있는 끈을 당겨 추락시킵니다. Pull down sharply those belts.
Finally, the AC is coming on. I'm so warm. We have officially taken off. We are in the skies. Now the next milestone to get past is just to land again. Oh, how mental. Greg, it was only 2 months ago, pretty much to this date, that I was denying that the Pyongyang Marathon would ever happen. I'm sorry.
I told you so.
You've been waiting to say that.
비행기 리착륙 단계에서 손님들은 식탁과 의자 등받이를 고정하며 시창을 열어놓아야 합니다. 통로나 비상 출구 주변에는 그 어떤 물품도 놓지 말아야 하며 선짐들은 당반이나 앞좌석 밑에 안전하게 보관해야 합니다.
Greg and I tucked into our Air Koryo burgers and finally took a sigh of relief and could relax. at least for a short while. We then spent about 10 minutes trying to fill in the various customs and health documents, for which a lot of it was quite different. The inviting body was not our normal tourism partners, and well, I was a bit rusty filling in these after 5 years. It's not just me that had some difficulty though. I ended up going to the toilet after this, and the toilets are situated right at the back of the plane. I didn't make it back to my seat on row 8 for about half an hour after being stopped by about 30 different people on the flight, all asking questions about filling in these forms. Okay, we've just been given the forms that we need to sign. We have 3 different forms. One is a entry-exit form. One of them is a customs declaration in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea form, and the other one is a health and quarantine declaration card. And you know what? Greg is gonna kill me because I gave this briefing to so many people this morning, but I have forgotten myself what I need to fill in. So thank God Greg is next to me to help me fill it in. Thank you. So we have been flying for about an hour and a half now, and we are landing in about, I guess, 5 or 10 minutes. Unfortunately, above the clouds, the weather was beautiful and clear, but now we are descending into the clouds and have just been told that it is raining in Pyongyang, and it's looking quite grey already. We've just entered the clouds, and yeah, unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be a bit of a rainy arrival and a bit of a non-view, but never mind. What are you most excited for, Greg, about our entry into Pyongyang? What is your most excited thing?
Guides?
Same. It's definitely a strange feeling to be back after so long. But you know what I'm already thinking about, Greg? Having to leave again.
And unlike most of our trips before, when we knew when we are coming back, we have no idea.
It reminds me of the last time that I exited Pyongyang and said to them, oh yeah, see you in April for the... You know what I said last time when I exited Pyongyang? I literally said see you in April for the marathon.
Well,
I'm just 5 years late.
You didn't define the year.
I'm just 5 years late. Oh my gosh, that's quite funny. Oh, we can see ground. Welcome to the DPRK.
DPRK has ground.
Oh, it's so grey. Why is it so grey and miserable, Greg?
Because of the weather conditions. Yes, they have rain in Korea as well.
Oh, it must be brought on deliberately because they don't want us to see the landing, so they made the clouds deliberately so we wouldn't be able to see. Oh my gosh, we're in Pyongyang. That's amazing.
No, we are.
Oh, don't ruin my wine. I'm not sitting next to you next time.
Even when we land, we are not in Pyongyang, we land in Sunan.
Okay. Anyway, we're in the DPRK.
다시 한번 확인해 주십시오. Ladies and gentlemen, as the plane is landing on, please be sure to get your seatbelt securely fastened.
I think we should start the clock. Oh my gosh. We're not safely stopping yet. Let's start the clock. And finally, after 5 years, we have finally arrived in Pyongyang.
계셔야 하며 서집품들을 확인하고 내려주십시오. 안녕히 가십시오. Ladies and gentlemen, our plane has just landed at Pyongyang Airport. The local time is 4:10 p.m. Please keep seated until the plane comes to a complete stop and take care of your belongings in the cabin before disembarkation. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. That was so sweet. Going to go and try and get my things from over there. Sorry. Bizarrely, opposite me was a North Korean who spoke incredible English and German. I'll leave some of the audio in for my German audience, but basically I had a chat to him about how he lived in Vienna, Austria for a short time, just like I had done previously. He was a businessman, and of course he didn't go into detail about what business, but he was very nice. Your English is so good. Where did you learn it?
I live in Austria for 12 years.
Austria? Okay, so you can auch Deutsch, oder? Ich habe auch eine Zeit lang in Österreich gewohnt, in Neusiedl. Neusiedl am See. Ja, you know it?
Ja.
In der Nähe von Wien. Ja, kennst du? Du warst in Wien, oder?
In Wien.
Okay, cool.
Und wie viele Jahre?
감사합니다. 아이고. Now time for security and passport control. Let's see. Okay, so got through passport control absolutely fine, but now waiting for my luggage, and it all seems to be soaked. This is like, my heart is racing. I can almost see the guides outside. Just waiting for my luggage. Then gonna go through customs, and then then I can see the guides. Oh my gosh. Yeah, my heart is really racing. This is crazy. Can you imagine, like, friends that you haven't seen for over 5 years, haven't had any word from? Oh my gosh. I also can't wait to see who else it is. I only know a couple of the guides. This is intense. Just waiting for one piece of luggage from my last. I never usually check 2 luggages. This is one of the reasons. Also trying to get out first so that I can get myself a SIM card.
You're going to stay here for a long time?
This is all coming back. None of this is coming back with me, trust me. None of this is mine. I'm leaving all of this here.
It's like gifts and stuff.
I have a lot of catching up to do for gifts, yeah. Oh, come on, luggage. The customs officer appreciated my Korean, actually. The passport officer appreciated my Korean, actually. Got to practice a little bit. He was a bit confused about me living in Taiwan, which I now think is called Taeban in Korean. It's the first time I heard the word Taiwan in Korean, so now I know it. And he was confused about Tainan. He kept asking me, like, what city in Taiwan? And I was like, no, Tainan is a city in Taiwan. Anyway. Through customs, now it's time. It's time. See the guides. Let's go. 감사합니다, 동기. Yeah. The next hour as I make it through passport control were probably the most excruciating. So much adrenaline, but nowhere for it to go, as I spent most of it waiting for my bag to come through. At this point, the Koreans are just on the other side of the screen, just past customs. If I move around a little, I can see them through the cracks, but I can't quite recognize anyone. I end up waiting for my luggage for a long time, what feels honestly like an eternity, before making it to customs and then spending about 10 minutes going through the customs documents and whilst the customs officer goes through my bag. He was incredibly sweet and very friendly and apologized profusely for having to go through my bags, and generally it was a really great experience. And then finally, I made it out into the airport. The audio you're about to hear is from me seeing old friends after a long time, including my colleague Simon, the general manager of Koryo Tours, but also my Korean colleagues, some of whom I didn't realize would be there. And these conversations are incredibly representative of how basically all of my conversations with the North Koreans go. I didn't record everything, and some of it I kept private, but I left a little snippet in for you guys. The audio is a little bit messy and it gets muffled when we are hugging each other, but I hope it gives you the picture of how the reunion went. Hello.
Hi.
Nice to see you. It's been a minute.
It's been a while.
Oh, you were probably in my BT days.
Of course.
And she speaks Korean now. Chosunmal.
No, I don't.
Look totally different.
Really? It's so nice to see you ladies.
Oh, no. Listen, wait.
You stayed for a long time in China.
I think so. I've missed
Chinese boyfriend?
Nice to meet
no,
you.
no.
Very pleased
No,
to see
no
you
boyfriend.
again.
No boyfriend.
What did you do in China for 6 years?
What about Greg? Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Okay, so what
So
do you
during
need?
your trip, this trip, I'm going to be your guide.
Very nice.
Yeah,
My guide or?
your guide with Mr. Simon. I'm
Oh,
from the
very
Ministry
nice.
of Sports and Physical
Okay,
Culture.
very nice to meet you.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of things from Mr. Simon.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so funny. You think Nick is looking like grandma? Really though.
Yeah, really. Oh, you look different too.
Do I look older?
Yeah, what I remember from you, just very beautiful. But today, you look very
Chubby?
teeny. Yeah,
Really?
chubby. Yeah, really.
Skinny or chubby?
Shabby.
Chubby.
Yeah, shabby.
Thank you. Thank you. Chubby. Yeah. I mean, I'm eating too much. Exactly. Too many sweets. Aww. But everything is okay with you?
Are you still living in China?
I'm in Taiwan now.
Taiwan now. Oh, from Taiwan to Beijing and Korea.
Yes, exactly. But I hope to move back to Beijing once the tourism starts again.
When it starts, we'll see.
When it's starting, I don't know. We're waiting
Oh,
on time.
we are waiting
to.
to.
Yeah. But I hope sooner rather than later. Must be soon.
No boyfriend is still now. No boyfriend. Wow.
You know, let me tell you, last year in November I should get married.
You should get married.
Yes, and then last minute cancel.
Why? What happened to you?
Let's just say culture differences. So since my colleague brought up the boyfriend thing due to a few comments recently on social media and indeed all the comments from my Korean colleagues, I'll take this as a chance to let you guys know that despite how well Greg and I get along, we are indeed just colleagues. Much to the grief of the North Koreans who frequently, including on this trip multiple times, ask me why me and Greg will not marry. So, Pyongyang Airport is where I will leave you for this episode. In the next couple of episodes, I'll take you along for the journey through Pyongyang, and then we'll finally get back on track with the typical sit-down podcast episodes where I cover certain topics and have some guests on. Let me know if you do have any guest recommendations and if you have any topics you'd like me to cover. And if you've enjoyed the podcast and are still listening up to now, do me a favor and make sure you're subscribed. Rate this podcast and make a comment if you can. If you want to see my coverage of the Pyongyang Marathon in more detail, do head over to YouTube where the marathon video is already out with many more to follow. Also going hard on the short form vids this time, for example on Reels and TikTok, on both of my platforms and Koryo Tours. So I'll link all of those in the show notes. See you next time.